Hello, everyone. It's me, Orpheon, your infinite dragon sorcerer here, and I'm making a part 2 to the what if, known as What If Deku Had Spawn's Powers. This is gonna be a part 2, so I'm gonna make part 2s to all the previous what ifs I made today. So since my laptop is too slow, this will be quicker and more efficient. So I'm using my phone to make what if videos temporarily, of course, until my laptop stops, glitching out. So I'm sorry for the inconvenience, everyone. All right, let's get back to what Deku's going through. Basically, right after Bakugo was really pissed off at Deku, but he doesn't know his name because he doesn't have a name. But some of you guys wanted the name Zero, so his name is Zero. That's gonna be his name and hero name. Basically, just saying. Well, basically, his hero name is gonna be Zero, and his normal name is gonna be Nathan. Pretty much. And Deku, he goes off to see what happened to his old house that him and his mom used to live in. And he just doesn't see anyone in there. It's just empty. The place has been cleaned out. No one's lived there for a while. Like, it looks like no one's been living there for years. And Deku just thinks to himself, so this is the price I had to pay to get my own power. Deku is furious and he starts trashing his old apartment, his old home where him and his mother used to have good memories. All his hopes and dreams of being a hero, even without a quirk, and now everyone thinking he's dead, and not only that, his mother dying from shock of him committing suicide. And he had to see him at his mom's grave. And he was furious. He started trashing his old home. Never wanting to remember where he lived. Ever. So he just was so angry. Frustrated and destroying everything. With his chains and spikes and cape. He decided to just not do anything. He doesn't even need to eat anymore. He doesn't need to eat or sleep. His entire body is completely cold. I mean, it didn't even matter or what he's able to do. Like, what he has his own quirk. He's all alone. No mom, no father. And who knows, his father may have got remarried to who knows where. So he just flies out of his old apartment and leaving it a complete wreck. Then the next day, he turned into his human form and basically just let his suit power down, technically. And this is around the USJ incident. Pretty much, Aizawa tells the entire class 1A that they're going to practice rescue type of situations at the USJ. They all go on the bus, and then some of the class in class 1A, they are talking to each other, and they were asking about Nathan. They're asking, Nathan, so what's your quirk? Nathan doesn't really say anything. He just says, Spawn. My name, quirk is Spawn. And everyone's like looking at him like, dude, why is your quirk named that? Nathan, Deku just doesn't say anything else. And Uraka asks Deku, but not. She doesn't know that his real identity. So she just calls him Nathan, just like everyone else. Nathan, what's wrong? Why do you look so glum? Are you upset about something? Deku starts thinking, maybe I should try to be a hero, at least for my mom's sake. She would want me to do that. He thinks to himself, and then answers to Uraka saying, yeah, I'm just a little down the dumps, that's all, but I'll feel better. Thank you for your concern, Uraka. Uraka starts to blush, and he's still looks like himself, but his body's cold. But the only thing that's warm about him is hardly a heartbeat. His body's just... I don't even know how to explain what Spawn's body's like, but he's full of necroplasm. And pretty much, they all... Class 1A, they all arrived at the USJ building, and then they meet 13. And everyone was geeking out. Everyone was excited about the hero 13, the rescue hero. And as soon as they enter the building, Deku, he begins to sense something, murderous intent, something similar, like demonic murderous intent. Then, oddly enough, soon a portal opens up and the electricity and the lights are off and the communications are jammed. Aizawa tells the students, kids, this is not part of the test. It's real. Those are real villains. And everyone in Kirishima said, wait, what? How did they get here? Aizawa tells the student, tells Class 1A and 13, protect the students. Get them out of here and try to call for backup. Denki tries to use his support item that came with his costume. They're all like, what do you think I'm trying? They must... And Todoroki says, one of the villains must have jamming the signal. And Deku, out of a fit of rage, letting his demonic nature come through to the surface, he charges with his chains lashing and flying straight to the massive group of villains. And he notices something odd about some of them. Some of them aren't normal people. Some of them end up manifesting into grotesque, horrifying forms of demons and monsters. And even when Deku's fighting against all of them, efforts, damn it, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. Basically, effortlessly using his chains to smash and destroy and toss all of the villains all across the USJ. Everyone's watching Deku and like, dude, did anyone else know that Nathan was that strong? And then one of the villains manifested some claws, more like demonic claws. One of them was a demon, sort of like a hell spawn, and impaled Deku right in the dead center in the chest. His blood was completely green and glowing. Everyone was like, whoa, what the... Seriously, Nathan! Everyone tried to charge and help Deku, but Aizawa said he was gonna help Deku. I mean, Nathan, basically. Sorry if I keep starting, I'm reading a script, trying to get better. While Aizawa is canceling normal humans' quirks, he then tries to cancel one of the monster's quirks, and it wasn't a Nomu. It wasn't the Nomu. It was something else. A Hellspawn began to start flinging a barrage of attacks right towards Aizawa. He's able to dodge some of them, but his quirk isn't well suited for all-out brawls. And soon Deku teleports into a green flame and teleports behind the demon and literally rips it apart with his own two hands. Then spikes appeared all over his arms, and then he starts charging at all the demons and left all the normal humans alone and went straight for the demons because he knew something wasn't right with them. Those weren't normal people. Then Konagiri and Tomura Shigaraki appeared, but with someone else. Someone fat. A little fat man who looks like a clown. But it was the Violator. No, literally, that's his name. I'm not kidding. That's actually his name. And then he tells Toma Shigaraki and Konagiri, and he literally starts pulling out a cigarette and starts smoking, and literally says, "Alright, kid, here's the deal. I'm only letting you use some of my guys. But if your guys get hurt or because of collateral damage, you're on your own." Tomo Shigaraki says, Yeah, I know. As long as we get to kill All Might. Well, you better keep your word. Yeah, I will, kid. Especially since you just started in this business. And Deku, his eyes begin to glow. He starts charging straight for the Violator. Because he knew what he was. He wasn't human at all. Then, Violator instantly dodges Deku's chains and attacks. Not only with zero effort, he starts bouncing around saying, So, I have a question for you, little old hellspawn. Why aren't you gonna be a good little demon and do as the boss says? Huh? And Deku then says, It's because of your boss that my life's a living hell! Oh, Deku begins to charge and literally starts to grab a Violator and drags his face across the very ground. And his skin begins to rot away and tear apart. And everyone, I know this is a little gory, but still, this is Spawn we're talking about here. So I'm just letting you all know, okay? I'm just letting you all know. But Deku lifts up his arm and realizes that, wait, it's just a hunk of flesh? And Violator, he basically shows his true form, a hideous, demonic form that almost made the students of Class 1A almost puke just at the mere sight of his hideous state. And Violator starts spatting out insults at Deku, saying, Oh, woe is me. This wasn't what I was promised. So what? You made a deal with the devil, so what? You can't just act like a hero. Oh, just because you didn't get what you wanted, kid. And so what if your mom is dead? All humans die eventually. Deku begins eyes glow even more, and he starts to transform. and teleports right in front of Violator, and literally tries to rip his head off from his torso. To little to no success. Everyone's shocked in horror of the scene playing before them. They're all shivering with fear and terror, seeing Nathan in acting such a way, more like a villain than a hero. And Aizawa, he's trying to make sure none of the normal villains go anywhere near the students. And Ida, he then basically he does have time to avoid Konagiri's warping cork, or with the assistance of Class 1A and Bakugo, some of them that actually was able to stomach this fight that was playing out before them. And with Deku's rage going more and more out of control, his chains lashed out and destroyed nearby parts of the facility. He even destroyed the shipwreck zone, leaving it in total flames, green flames that caused the water to even evaporate. Deku begins to fly and charge right at him with mindless, brutal intent, and on ripping Violator to shreds. And he's saying, "Good, you're really starting to do a number on me, but that's not good enough." Of twerp. I think I might pay your mom's grave a little visit later on after this fight. And Deku says, "What did you say, you piece of crap? Die!" He then impales Violator's demonic form, but it was only an illusion, but it felt like it was real. Then Violator then disappears into Konagiri's cork, and he says, "Ha, nice try. Maybe next time, rookie." And then Deku says, "Why you get back here and fight, you coward!" He shouts that out in the dead center of the USJ, covered in green blood, and he's still hardly regenerating. And all over the entire USG, only a few handful of normal people came out alive. He was doing all he could to kill every last one of the hell spawns that were trying to kill some of the villains, but some of them were still consumed and ripped to shreds. Hardly any remains to identify. Then Tomoe Shigaraki, he calls out Nomu and tells him to kill this brat throwing a tantrum. He then grabs Deku by the head and slams him all across the USJ. Green blood started spewing everywhere as Deku himself is starting to feel like his regeneration is failing him. I mean, he starts to grow tired. Then, when the Nomu was about to land the finishing blow and tries to rip Deku's head off from his torso, Ida and the pro heroes show up at the USJ and see the horror that has been held before them. But then All Might smiles and says, "Do not fear, because I am here." He then punches the Nomu, but it didn't work. And All Might is shocked. "What? How is this possible? That should have hurt it somehow." But Tomoe Shigaraki says, "Well, duh! The Nomu was built to kill you, All Might. Nomu, finish the kid off and then kill All Might." Deku then uses his chains to move All Might out of the way to prevent him from getting hurt. And he's still badly injured and hardly regenerating anymore. He then tries to use green flames to envelop the Nomu. The Nomu starts to regenerate from the green flames, burning every last bit of its flesh off. But uh, Deku, he then aims his chains right towards the Nomu's brain, and then forms spikes on those chains, impaling the Nomu right through the brain, and hanging on the other side of the tip of its chain. Everyone was shocked, saying, "Oh God, I think I'm gonna be sick." And no, don't do that on the floor. And then pretty much some people passed out from the sheer terror that most of this entire scene was caused deep into their minds. Then Toma Shigaraki says, "No, that kid. What is he? That Noma was built to kill All Might. This kid. Toma Shigaraki begins to scratch at his neck profusely and starts to bleed. And Toma says, "Konigiri, let's get out of here. This plan was a failure." And Konigiri asks, "What about the others that came with us?" "Leave them. They're just dead weight." The portal then closes, and pretty much after that whole ordeal, well, all of the villains got arrested by the pros, and then some of the pros begin to ask Nathan questions about his quirk and why was he acting in such a brutal way. Deku then says, "It's none of your damn business. Leave me alone." He then teleports away into green flames. He's still badly injured, but he's only able to teleport close to Uraraka. And then Uraraka says, "Nathan, please, you're badly injured. You need to go to a hospital." Deku says, "I don't need a damn hospital. I don't need anyone. Just leave me alone." Then Uraraka says, "No, I'm not leaving your side no matter what." Then Uraraka starts blushing. She was like, "Wait, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant." And she starts blushing, then she starts floating and blushing crazy. And pretty much everyone's like, "Oh, great. Now Nathan's got himself a girlfriend." And Mina's like, "I'm so jealous I could kill him." And as well as Denki, we both say that in unison, in their heads, of course. Then later on that day, all the students in UA had to go home, and school was closed until the pros find out any information about how the villains infiltrated the USJ and knew exactly where All Might or the students was gonna show up there. Deku and Uraraka are in front of the hospital while Deku is barely regenerating at all. And Uraraka then asks, "Nathan, how come your blood is green? Is that because of your quirk?" Deku doesn't answer because he says, "I can't answer." Uraraka then tries to comfort him, says, "Don't worry. If there's anything that's bothering you, I'm always here." Then Deku begins to feel like he's blushing, but he still tries to act all tough and says, "Uraraka, I don't need you to try to comfort me. There's nothing wrong with me. But thanks, Uraraka." And the next couple of weeks, while school's canceled, while the heroes are trying to figure out how the villains even got there in the USJ, Uraraka and Deku begin to get to know each other better and begin to develop a little bit of a relationship. And that's where I'm going to leave it off this time. As always, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Share this video, tell your friends, and as always, Infinity Overdrive, infinite realities, infinite possibilities. Later.